It's time for the Republican Party to recognize what Ron DeSantis actually is. He is both the future of the Republican Party and the best Republican presidential candidate in the last century.
More and more Republicans are rallying around Ron DeSantis, like the guy you see here.
Ron DeSantis is Donald Trump, but without the personal baggage, with the pedigree, and with the experience governing at the highest level. He checks every single box. He went to Yale. He played baseball at Yale. He served our military in Iraq as a lawyer for the Navy SEALs and won 2 Medals of Honor.
Now, this video is weird not just because of the guy's demeanor and freaky enthusiasm for Ron DeSantis, and also his eye contact and just the entire vibe really rubs me the wrong way, but he's just reading off Ron DeSantis's Wikipedia page. At one point, he lifts up that Ron DeSantis has only had one wife. He talks about his career as a lawyer in the military, and he's very excited that Ron DeSantis rejected any COVID protocols.
Without him, we're all probably still wearing masks, and there may be a nationwide vaccine mandate. He was the first governor to say, hey, this data and this science does not add up.
But the point he makes, that Ron DeSantis is the future of the Republican Party because he doesn't have the baggage that Trump does, is something that Democrats and progressives have been concerned about. At the end of the day, they don't differ that much in terms of policy. They're both going to push for the same things. They both want a worse version of the United States. They both want to control people's lives and what they do. They reject science. They deny climate change. They're anti-choice. They want lower taxes for corporations. They don't want you to have health care. The list goes on. This is a bad outlook no matter who gets elected. But on this baggage thing, this is what DeSantis supporters have pointed to for a while. He's Trump without the mess. He's Trump with more polish. Sure. Okay, maybe in some respects, but even that seems to be fading. Because what so often happens with these types of right-wing demagogues is they get caught up in their own bullshit. The positive feedback and reinforcement from trivial culture war victories really warps their brains. And they end up doing worse and worse stuff because they think it's going to lead to positive reinforcement.
Up until now, Donald Trump had one major advantage on Ron DeSantis, and that was the fact that Donald Trump was able to completely shift the media cycle and the news narrative away from one thing and onto something else. Until Ron DeSantis just shifted the news cycle from abortion, a losing Republican issue, and onto immigration, a major Republican issue, by sending those 50 immigrants to Martha's Vineyard. Ron DeSantis is the future of the Republican Party.
He might have just overstepped. And you probably saw that a couple weeks ago, Ron DeSantis' staff rounded up a group of around 50 immigrants and flew them to Martha's Vineyard. They did this as a stunt to talk about immigration. The immigrants didn't come from Florida. They came from Texas. Florida is not a border state. Florida's border is water and Alabama. But these people were from Venezuela in Texas, and they just rounded them up and shipped them to Massachusetts. And using people as a political stunt is grotesque. These are human beings who just want to be here in search of a better life. We should welcome that, right? And that's where people like him really show just how evil they are. You just upended 50 total strangers' lives. For what? For a couple nice posts from Ben Shapiro? But now it's really backfiring and blowing up in his face. Because just recently, the Treasury Department announced it's going to investigate the potential use of COVID funds for this stunt. And I can't really think of a funnier scenario for this guy to be embroiled in. The guy who everyone is patting on the back for rejecting any COVID protocols still took the money, the COVID assistance money, but now is using it for a cheap political stunt that ends up blowing up in his face and could smear him potentially permanently in politics. The thing is, a lot of Republicans won't care, and that's unfortunate, because ultimately they don't mind if people are used in political stunts. Their politics are driven by hate. They want to demean, belittle, ostracize, marginalize, and harass people they see as different, people they see as other or outsiders and immigrants. And that's just cruel. So sure, we do need to be worried about DeSantis running in 2024, but at the end of the day, his biggest threat is himself.